Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies that will traumatize you.
I guess I'm a pretty sick guy.
Are you having any negative thoughts?
For this list, we'll be looking at those flicks that will leave you shaken. These are not the most controversial films, but ones that are surprisingly traumatizing or people might have seen too young. Also, documentaries will not be included. Which film still haunts you? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Oldboy. This South Korean masterpiece makes audiences feel every emotion imaginable, be it anger, excitement, joy, or disgust. One night, Oh Dae-soo is kidnapped and imprisoned in a hotel room for 15 years. After being let out, Dae-soo sets out on a revenge mission, not realizing this road leads to ruin.
와, 힘 세다, 미스터 몬스터. 역시 당신은 내가 발명한 괴물이야.
Once the final act commences and the truth is revealed, Oldboy descends into pure nightmarish madness. Although filtered through the understandable motive behind the actions of the main antagonist, Yi Woo-jin.
내 복수심만큼 잘 되는 처방도 없어요. 한번 해봐.
The corridor fight might be the most iconic sequence from Oldboy, but the visual of an utterly crushed, grovelling Dae-soo is the one that sticks in mind. Number 9, The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Stanley Kubrick's movie might be quite different from Stephen King's book, but at least they are both intensely terrifying.
Red rum! Red rum! Red rum! Red rum!
The Shining is traumatizing in two ways. Firstly, there are all the Overlook Hotel's spine-chilling supernatural visions, from an elevator overflowing with blood to the Grady twins being all sorts of creepy.
Hello, Danny. Come and play with us.
The Shining's second and most effective tool for terror is its simple idea that someone, be it a close family member, a friend, or a stranger, could suddenly pick up a taste for murder and an axe to satiate it.
You can't get away. I'm right behind you.
Number 8, The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. For a film set during World War II that centres around the Holocaust, The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas does an impressive job of leaving audiences unprepared for its devastating conclusion.
It's alright. I think we're just waiting in here until the rain stops.
Told primarily through the eyes of two children, the story depicts the unlikely friendship that forms between an 8-year-old prisoner at a concentration camp and the similarly aged son of a Nazi commander.
I wish you'd remembered the chocolate. Yes, I'm sorry. I know. Perhaps you can come and have supper with us sometime. I can't, can I? Because of this.
Although a challenging watch throughout, the climax hits extremely hard as the innocent children pass away to a chorus of tears and screams. The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas ends on an utterly devastating note. Number 7, Saw.
Rise and shine, Adam. You're probably wondering where you are. I'll tell you where you might be. You might be in the room that you die in.
As indicated by its infinite sequels, Saw made a pretty big splash when it debuted. Everyone had to see the horror film, and what they got is a healthy portion of gore, some visceral deaths, and a shockingly effective psychological thriller.
How much blood will you shed to stay alive, Paul?
Adam and Lawrence find themselves locked in a deadly game by the deranged Jigsaw, and escape involves a saw, a foot, and a gun. Just in case the bloody mayhem on display isn't traumatizing enough, Saw ends on a soul-crushing note that might just inspire Adam's shriek to soundtrack someone's dreams for a good while.
Game over.
Number 6. Hereditary. Movies about hauntings are a dime a dozen, but Hereditary stands out due to its genuine scares and strong character work.
Please stop! Nothing is
Following the passing of their grandmother, the Graham family begins to unravel a strange history that threatens them with damnation. As a psychological horror film with an ambiguous threat, Hereditary is intense, unnerving, and filled with realistic performances.
I never wanted to be your mother.
Why?
I was scared. I didn't feel like a mother.
A slow burner, Hereditary keeps most of its more supernatural moments to its final act. Despite all the unknown happenings inside the house, the most traumatic scene just involves a roadside accident, although one that is slightly more tragic than a fender bender. Number 5. American History X. American History X tackles the heavy theme of racial discrimination through the journeys of two brothers with neo-Nazi connections. Not subtle in its messaging, nearly every scene in American History X is provocative. The film even manages to make a simple basketball match feel like a powder keg that is a three-pointer away from exploding.
No money for these courts. And not just today, for good. If you win, we will walk away. But if we win...
Most of the movie's best scenes, like the family dinner, involve nothing but dialogue. However, American History X can also get really physical really quick.
What are you doing, Derek? This is your family.
Right, my family. My family. So you know what? I don't give two shits about you or anybody else or what you think. You're not a part of it and you never will be.
Along with various moments in the prison sequence, the curb stomp scene is the stuff that mental scars are made of. So we'll spare you the scene in its entirety.
Get on the curb right now!
Number 4. The Exorcist. As one of the most popular horror movies of all time, anyone remotely interested in the genre will get to The Exorcist sooner rather than later. When the young Reagan catches a bad case of the demon, two priests are summoned to compel the unwanted guest to leave post-haste.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Alongside all its bizarre floating moments, The Exorcist peppers in many flashes of realistic violence and a whole lot of blood. Reagan's frightful transformation is heightened by the grounded portrayals of the rest of the characters, particularly the priests. The movie truly makes audiences believe that this innocent girl has been possessed by something pure evil.
Keep away! The soul is mine!
Number 3. Requiem for a Dream.
Ready, and 1.
The typical 3-act structure usually involves the protagonist hitting their lowest point around 2/3 of the way through the story, sparking their road to redemption. Requiem for a Dream is different, as every time the main characters hit seemingly unbeatable lows, the film finds a way to sink even deeper. Focusing on the crushing consequences of drug addiction, Requiem for a Dream offers no respite from the misery or depression. This is the type of film that even people who love it will probably not want to watch it again. Number 2. Schindler's List. Steven Spielberg followed up 3 massive blockbusters in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Hook, and Jurassic Park, with a harrowing drama about the Holocaust. Set during one of humanity's darkest periods, Schindler's List presents a direct look into the atrocities of World War II, and this was a film designed for mass consumption. The girl in red, goth shooting from the balcony, and the shower scene. Schindler's List is filled with images that stay with you. A handful of films have this ability to leave people speechless as they quietly contemplate what they have just experienced while the credits roll. Schindler's List is one such movie.
Could have become one more person. And I didn't.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. American Psycho, because Huey Lewis was never quite the same after this film.
Most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends, it's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul! Ah!
Un Chien Andalou, because of the eye scene. Joker, because this is not a superhero film. Gummo, because it's unpleasant and raw.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Seven. A crime drama starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, Seven might seem pretty predictable at first glance.
Gluttony. Greed. Sloth. Wrath. Pride. Lust. And envy.
The sins-themed murders are quite graphic, and the film's dirty and gritty aesthetic adds to its impact, but the detectives must surely eventually catch up to John Doe.
Detective. After this, I'm gone.
No big surprise.
Seven's brilliance lies in its final act, as nothing plays out as it should. John Doe gives himself up, and the detectives never feel in control, and justice does not prevail in the end. Like the real world, sometimes evil manages to get away with it, and the heroes are left as nothing more than broken shells.
Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.